And we are live. At least we should be. Trying out a new mic stand today. We'll see how that goes. See how many times I bump this one. Testing microphone 1, 2, 3. I think I sound good. Oops. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh.
Heyo.
Heyo.
I don't see you.
Can you see me now?
You. Hold on a second. Yes, I can.
How's it going, buddy? I'm live, by the way.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
Like I forgot the one time, and I'm never gonna live it down.
I didn't. It didn't. Just for the record, it didn't really bother me. I was just giving you a hard time.
Cool. And then there were 3.
I'm having a hard time grabbing it. Give me a second here.
It is storming like crazy around my way, so if I just suddenly disappear, it's fine.
Okay. Well,
I think it'll be fine, man. That'd be tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want you to disappear. I mean, it's okay if you disconnect from the internet, but don't disappear.
Yeah. My it'll likely be just the power dropping out, but
we don't see you, Conway.
yes,
we can hear
you are.
I need to set this up.
You're live, by the way. You're
Yes,
being streamed to
yes.
thousands of homes right now.
All 5s and 5s of homes. I love how you have 2 name tags going on. That's actually
You like that?
That's
So
actually
now it's mirror mode.
That's really clever. I like that a lot.
No one really knows what I look like in real life. Is this my right hand or my left hand?
That works.
When if you meet me in real life, you're gonna be weirded out because I'm gonna be flipped.
So
Every time we do this, guys, I get a little bit looser about it.
mhm.
The nerves didn't start kicking in till 8 o'clock this time. I don't know if you have that experience at all. Maybe you're just totally cool and calm and collected and excited, but I can't help it.
The worst of it was our very first session. That was when I had like the worst nerves, and on top of that, having to run the game, that was just
Yeah.
it was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I still gotta watch the last 2 sessions I played in.
Mhm. You
Normally, the next minute, if I can, if I ever had it recorded, I'll like just stay up and watch it. But I stopped doing that. I had to force myself because it takes away from sleep. So
sure,
but then I never had like a good time to go back to watch it. So behind.
Yeah, you've been busy. I mean, between Monday,
I know.
the excellent Traveler game. I was listening to that during work a couple days ago. I'm like, this is really good.
I was worried. It felt like I was working on the one thing that I told Rick I was going to work on, which is like trying to be more present in the conversation, and I did, but it can't. Like I was so like, if you don't know the backstory, we're practically enemies. Like literally, the characters are enemies. So I was really trying to let that out, and I think I might have went too far. I'm worried to watch it back, but
I mean, it fits if it fits with the character.
It's not very often you get to actually play it with your enemy.
Yeah. I think it all went very well. It was very you could feel the tension. Just it was so palpable. And
Okay,
I'm low key jealous. You potentially get to play with Crispy, which is like really dope.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Playing with the big leagues now.
yeah,
It's all good. I don't want to get like a. I don't want them to like form their full opinion on my ability on like this is like the first month I've tried
yeah,
this. So just but yeah, I don't know how many like if you guys are normally in the routine of playing this often, but I come from like playing once every 3 or 4 months at
yeah,
best, you know?
yeah,
Like a 2D game at
yeah,
every 3 or 4 months. So like two a week is too much, I think. I'm like gunning, like
yeah,
I'm redlining right now.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
because you want to be excited for it.
what's like my
Yeah, I think go ahead.
well, I was gonna say my fifth edition table. We only meet every so often, and of course, like they have they got lives and kids and stuff like that. So I can't really blame them.
Hmm.
But it is nice to have something regular to be able to sink your teeth into.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Back in
I
high
think
school, I used to play
yeah.
a lot.
Mm,
Could play like twice a week for 8 hours each
yeah.
time.
Oh, no
But it
kidding.
was very different because we were playing 2D.
Mm,
So it's just mostly hanging out with friends, really.
yeah.
Right, right. Yeah. There's something to be said about sort of like, at least for me, I've got like a gas tank of creativity, right? So I maybe I need to fill it up a bit by like watching something or
Yeah.
reading or you know what I mean? Like get some in. I'm just whinging.
Yeah.
That's part, you'll get to know me. I do this.
A big thing for me has been like audiobooks. That's like
Yeah, it's
that's my best way to get just ideas. I steal so much from like my Audible library is just filled with a bunch of crap. Stuff that I still haven't read yet or listened to, whatever. A whole bunch of just lots of stuff.
That's true.
Hmm.
I've been going
anything.
through recently I have been going through on Audible the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, which you guys might know as the Three Body Problem series.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
Oh,
Great series of books. Three Body Problem was like the name of the first book, but it kind of became the name for the
yeah,
trilogy because it's more marketable, I guess. A lot of people know Three Body.
yeah.
yeah.
First two books are great. Recommend it to anyone that likes sci-fi. Third book is meh.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, it's on my list. Three body problem.
I keep switching back and forth between Elric and Quorum.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, I mean I've listened to Elric like twice through now. I mean I have the whole series, but there's like
Is there
the
is there like a good list to follow in Arc? Because
well
it's not linear. Right?
no, if you get the so they have a compilation of all the stories in one collection, or it's 2 volumes, but the first collection is just called Elric of Melniboné, and the second one is called Stormbringer, and it takes you through kind of chronologically. The audiobook version on Audible has one that's not in the book in the collection, which is actually really cool. Um, so I would recommend getting the Audible version. It gives you a good chronological, you know, journey through it all.
Hmm.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've been on a big sci-fi binge lately.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll go to fantasy afterwards.
Yeah, well, I mean, the good thing about Elric is it kind of toes the line. There's a story.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
one of the books, Sailors on the Seas of Fate, goes super sci-fi. Like they're basically infiltrating this dungeon that has all these wires and all these cables, and it's this, they're fighting against this massive creature that's an amalgamation of metal and it's basically these 2 giant robots.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's a lot of fun.
How many
Am I
books?
mirrored? Does my shirt say Suns or Snus? Because I don't want my shirt saying Snus.
It says Sons. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay. Because on my end, it's mirrored.
Yeah, yeah, mine
Like,
Yeah,
too.
damn it, I don't
Discord
want
sucks.
to. Do you guys know what Snus is?
Yeah, it's the tobacco.
Scandinavian
Yeah,
tobacco thing. Yeah, it's gross.
I have 2, so I have my text mirror.
Is that your reminder for
Yeah, well,
your biggest sin?
Zonalar kind of put me on the stand, so I figured like it's kind of like if you're familiar, like Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
Yeah. Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
I wanted to do like because there's a thing online where you can make up your own, like you can type in your own text and it'll generate like a hold it or an objection, that sort of thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I thought that would be kind of funny. Like I even made I made like a pixel art version of Zonalar's crimes against roleplay get up,
Yeah,
and I was gonna
nice.
try to make it like talk and stuff, but it's whatever.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm gonna say this on record. I do think Zonalar gives very good advice. Um, but it all
But
depends like on to what
incoming anything.
extent. Yeah, yeah. It all depends on to what extent
Yeah.
you take it.
Hmm.
Because we were playing a little, ultimate no prep challenge. So depending on the GM,
Yeah.
sometimes taking a more hands-on approach to the story might not be that bad of an idea.
Yeah.
I do think that you went overboard,
Yeah.
but to a certain extent, you could excuse yourself for
Hmm.
doing some of those things and like
Yeah.
pushing the story forward. The issue was mostly was that Adam was also DMing very well, right?
Hmm.
So Adam was, handling it, and
Yeah.
you kept pushing on the story further
Yeah.
forward while Adam was doing a good job.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have helped him if he was struggling, but I don't think he was. Regardless, it's about learning and moving on.
Yeah. There were a lot of moments where I was just essentially GMing myself, and I could have done better. Like the takeaway that I took from Zonalar's critique about the locket was allowing for a degree of separation instead of being so concrete. Like, oh, it's the picture of the victim. I could have done something like, it's a picture of a grandma or something, and that would give Adam a little bit more leeway to kind of, oh, the grandma looks eerily familiar. She looks a lot like the victim, that sort of thing. You know,
That would be a better way to do it.
yeah,
It
yeah,
would be more
a
finesse.
way better.
Yeah, or even like I don't know, maybe I like to bounce back to 3D or
Hmm.
whatever, and you could have just said
Hmm.
I open the locket to see what
Yes,
pictures
yeah,
inside.
yeah,
That would be
Then we're
very
just
good. Yeah.
playing that's it because I
yeah.
like the 3D because it feels more like tennis, like
Hmm.
you're hitting it back and forth, like you're setting somebody up with something instead of just completely 4Ding the whole
Yeah.
thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
Hmm. No, yeah, absolutely.
There's also
Yeah.
the suspense aspect because our tone was suspense. So you could have said,
Yep.
I open the locket, my eyes widen, and I
Hmm.
look at the picture. Then Adam like jumps to me.
Yeah, yeah.
That could be
We
pretty
could
cool as
replay
well.
it. Do you want to replay it? And
Yeah,
like
just,
Craig
just
We'll do it live, folks.
yeah.
We'll critique our own
We'll
roleplay
do it
live.
Yeah, for the
Up to you
record, I
guys.
guess I could have jumped in, but I sort of missed that whole
Hmm.
conversation back and forth, and you didn't need me to defend you. You guys can defend yourself, but like in the beginning, it was clear that I basically begged you to, to do whatever you wanted to
Hmm.
help me out, take control of the session. I don't remember what my phrasing was, but it was just go, just do, help me.
Yeah,
So and like for me, I don't know, the NPC is a place to test things out and to practice.
yeah. If
So
there's any
we
place to
hit
Give
make,
me 3 minutes.
you're good, brother. If there's ever a place to make a mistake, it's during an NPC.
Yeah, exactly. We're here to practice.
Yeah.
I'm here to practice. I've seen some of them, like, I mean, even the pros ran into some issues and
Yeah.
were struggling in some parts. So,
Well, it's like
you
I,
know.
I got caught off guard watching the Traveler session because Phil asked a question. Phil asked,
Oh, did he?
yeah, he's like, wait a minute, are my eyes going blurry or is Adam's eyes?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Scandalous.
Yeah, I can't wait to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Hmm.
Not to relitigate. I was on my heels the whole time. That was
Yeah.
actually it was pretty action packed. I loved it.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes because the concept, just how Rick keeps things moving, and just how he, because that totally took me out of left field. Like, oh, the half of the ship is gone. What the heck do you do now? That sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
So I thought that was great.
Yeah. Shall we
Well,
dig in
I
in
think
the spirit
so.
of getting this practice going?
If we could, real quick, I have I just really quickly wanted to go through the table conventions, if that's cool, just to kind of show folks what we got.
Okay, do you want me to when I upload it, I just want to upload. Did you want to do it on your stream?
Uh,
Just go, and then I'll
okay.
say the whatever thing.
Well, we
Then
can do
we'll
it on because I know you want to record, so we can. If you
yeah,
don't mind it being on there, like we can totally do it that way.
that's fine. Just
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me. I don't know how long you want to talk for, but let me go ahead. 1 second here. All right.
I have not read the new updated terms and conditions, so it'd be good to go over them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me just bump it in here. Hey everybody, I'm Adam. I'm here with Uriah and Conway for another attempt at the Ultimate No Prep Challenge. How
Hey,
you guys
buddy.
doing?
Doing good.
Doing fine. Glad to be here.
Good.
Good to be back. Good to be back after our treacherous last week. It was good
Yeah.
though. It was good. Okay.
I think Conway's going to be
Yes.
DMing today.
Yeah. Oh, let's hope. I hope.
Maybe, let's hope. I would like for that to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, I wanted to share. We got some table conventions going on. Let me pull this up on my StreamYard as well. A lot of this, I mean, if y'all are familiar with, your run of the mill, what's it called? Geez Louise. Table conventions, social contract, that sort of thing. It's all pretty much the same as far as like rules for, in-character conventions. Really, the only thing that I wanted to go over was like table size and stuff like that. So max table size is 4 participants. If we have more than that, we just kind of split the group up. We all know the dice rolls. It's just kind of all the regular stuff. In character conventions, so obviously out of character talk is kept to a minimum. We don't really moan and groan about little things. A 2-second, 2-word mention of a rule or something, that's not going to be a huge deal. Of course, GMs don't move player characters, stuff like that. So something that Elf Hunter brought up is narration of successes and failures. That can be kind of hashed out on a session-by-session basis. The way I kind of have it set up is that players get first dibs on narrating successes and failures. And if you don't want to do that, you can just kind of make a motion or something, and the GM will kind of take it from there. It's one of those like feel things, we just kind of flow, and we kind of get the gist of it basically. There are those moments where we feel it out, and we just the GM steps in and narrates this because it would make sense for him to. The only other thing I added was in one-on-one games, narration of internal monologue is permissible, just because that thing is really easy. And of course, in the conventions, if you participate, you are eligible to GM, so there's no chickening out. Cool. Alrighty. Yes. There is there is the Uriah clause that states if if you roll 3 times in a row, you don't have to do it the 4th, but you do have to do it in the 5th. So.
But we reset.
Yes.
Since I went last week.
Yeah. So it's
so you can go 3 in a row again.
It's free for all. Yep.
I couldn't see it. It didn't come up on my stream, so
that's weird.
I'll have to edit that in post.
Yeah,
hopefully mine can share with you.
I hope so.
And where's the table for the things we get to roll on?
Here it is. Yeah, buddy.
Nice.
I guess I'll roll first since I DM'd last time.
Oh yeah. I like the
One.
format of each of us rolling one of them.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. 1, 2 is me. 3, 4 Uriah. 5, 6 Conway. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
6 Conway.
There's the big 6, yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
I'll be jamming.
Go ahead. You want to roll us in for setting?
Roll D20 for setting.
Let's go, big 20.
It's a 5 for space. Ooh, I was talking about sci-fi earlier.
Oh,
And Uriah will
yeah.
roll for the tone.
I should roll for tone. Let's see Sophie's dice. Here you are. D8. Let's do it. 5. Heroic.
Ooh, heroic space.
Oh.
Heroic space.
Are you guys thinking like space opera or something like that?
Yeah.
I think that's the vibe. I think that's what we're going for.
Huh.
I think Easy D6 will work well with this.
Mm-hmm. I think so as well.
All right. Conway, space, heroic. That's our game tonight.
I mean, what immediately comes to mind is just the classic, like Star Wars or something like that. But you could go for something more retro as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even Dune would fit a bit as well. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be one of those space
Yeah.
fantasy type situations.
I like the idea. Space opera. I mean, that's more like Star Wars. I'm assuming. Is that kind of the vibe?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Okay.
That could work.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you guys have a more inspired idea. I think that not literally Star Wars, but a very lightweight sort of space adventure with focus on heroics is what I was thinking.
Sure.
It isn't really sci-fi. You may have like sci-fi as jargon, sci-fi as magic, as some people put it. You know.
Yeah.
Is that indeed what we want to narrow in on, or do you want to bring something else to the mix?
I'm cool with that. That works for me.
Yeah, it depends how do we want to be literally in space for a big portion of it, or are we just thinking it's out there in space? We gotta have some space. We need to be on a spaceship, right?
I think spaceship is the way to go.
Just a couple of guys on a spaceship. Or maybe we've got our own fighter jets.
Mm.
Get like a dogfight, maybe. Maybe picking characters would help us get inspired.
It would, yeah. Due to the nature of like the time we have to play and things like that, it would be really cool to have like you guys infiltrating a massive spaceship, like the capital ship of the Empire, right? It's like where the Emperor is,
Yeah.
the evil Emperor taking over everything. And you guys are like the only two like infiltrating it. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, we can have like these cool like swords that aren't really swords. They're like it's like a light. We could-
Well, like a
Like a
you
laser.
mean like a light sword?
Like a laser sword.
Yeah,
Can I move things with my
I've never
mind?
heard of that before.
Or maybe mind is too powerful. Maybe they're like these small little creatures. Like
Yeah.
mini somethings. So I'm looking at the Horizon classes that they came up with.
Oh, that's smart. Where are those?
They are they're in the 4D sessions blurb. If you scroll down, you can find them. I wonder if there's a way that I can forward these, because that would be very, very helpful.
I don't know if this is by design, Uriah, but you're geared up for a dark game with
yeah.
how dark you are.
Got that sent. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Did the whole thing. Yeah, I'm trying to not disturb my sleeping wife. So.
Oh, okay, if that's the problem, then it's fine,
Yeah.
man.
So I got those sent. So we're thinking heroic.
Where did you send them?
They're in the Wednesday NPC page.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
I think everything's a bit nebulous, but just like last time, as soon as you guys narrate on a character, you
Yeah.
can really start to visualize it.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna do. I like the idea of being like a bounty hunter. Bounty hunter. 3 strikes. Armor. Whew.
Real quick, what is strike, by the way?
That's like how many times you can get hit. So basically, if you're hit by an attack, if you're hit by an attack, that counts as 1 strike.
I see. I'm assuming that this is the kind of thing that you guys will keep track of on your end, because I think I'm the least experienced with ECD6 here.
Yep. Yeah.
Despite being the game master.
It's essentially, it's usually 3 strikes and you're out. So of
Unless
course,
you're playing something like a freak where you have 5 strikes.
Oh yeah.
What a freak.
Oh, I have armor 5. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. And then boon. Investigation. Ooh. Interesting. Non-lethal weapons do an additional strike, but strikes from non-lethal weapons heal at the end of a scene.
Interesting.
So we're infiltrating. You said we're infiltrating a.
I was throwing ideas out there.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
I'm cool with like an infiltration sort of thing. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I'm cool. I mean, let's play it really heroic here, right? Like, I like this ace idea. You need an ace. I can do my best to be the ace. But I'm gonna be rascal, I guess. I think it's kind of like a rascal. I don't know.
Sure.
Trying to sort of dance around the Han Solo idea, but not be Han Solo.
Yeah.
You already have a bounty hunter, right?
Yeah.
It's Han's duo this time.
Han Solo's the bounty. He's not the bounty hunter.
Oh, that's a good point. Excuse me showing that I've never actually watched Star Wars.
He's the hunted bounty. Alright, let's pick these inclinations. Sorry, I'm a little slow today.
It's all good.
What'd you go for inclinations?
Ooh. Let's see. I will take. We get 4 as humans, right?
Yep.
I will take a cybernetic eye. I have a cybernetic prosthetic eye. So I have a boon to perception checks and can see twice as far in the dark. I will do dirty tricks. No, I won't do that one. I'll try to... Okay, I'll do hacker. Boon to computer tasks. me do. Get this all written down. Okay, cool. Hacker. Boon to computer task. I'll do.
I think that if you guys are going for something heroic, then maybe you should have like something special about your characters.
Mhm.
Because if you just, two guys can infiltrate like a giant spaceship and take it over, then there must be like something special about you guys. Maybe you're carrying like some secret or something like that.
Mhm.
Like you have like secret info about like their super weapon and you know how to turn them off or something.
Ooh.
Because otherwise it wouldn't work in heroic.
Yeah.
As like the last shot, the
Yeah.
last shot you guys have to beat the Empire.
Yeah, definitely.
So it'd be cool if you guys already start with it, or maybe we have like a short scene where we just present it to you or something like that. What do you guys think?
It could be kind of like our helicopter scene. Like we're in the helicopter or whatever. that sort of vibe.
Yeah, like a data disk we need to insert into the
Mm.
Emperor's throne room.
Yeah. Well, if we're doing heroic, do we want to like up our strikes as well? If that's kind of the vibe we're going for, or are we good with 3? Or do we want to
Oh, that's a great idea.
up our
I
armor?
think there's probably a inclination for that we could burn, so
Can we
we can
do it
play
like
raw.
contextually? Like here's a good example. Like in a superhero movie, like someone like falls like down 3 stories and they just do like the superhero landing and they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
But in a more realistic movie, like if you fall from 3 stories, like you'll be
Mhm.
out for the scene.
Yeah.
I think you can do it contextually.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Like, feel free to describe your character doing things that we know hurt, the regular
Sure.
human.
Yeah. I'll go
Yeah,
ahead.
that makes sense. That's fine.
I'll take athletic. And let's do
Should the players have dibs on describing their successes, right? And failures too.
yeah, that's kind of the sort of baseline idea that I had. I took that a from another UNPC that Crispy and the gang did, because they were
Okay, very good.
talking about it and they're like, yeah, just kind of give player first dibs, and if it's a situation where it makes sense for the GM to describe it, then the GM will jump in.
That works for me.
Cool.
It sort of is how it is anyway, because
Yeah.
in some games, even if like the players will describe all of their successes, and
Mhm.
then the player like rolls perception,
Yeah.
and you win the roll. Like what now?
Yeah.
What do you describe?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
I'll do. What is that? Did I already have Born Blessed? No, I'll take Born Blessed. So I start with 6 karma instead of 3. There it is. 3 strikes. Boom, boom, boom. All right. LSG Dean pop Add to stage. Add to stage. Full screen. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Cool. As I was saying, LSG Dean popped in and said, have a great session. Thank you, Dean. We'll do that. All right. Golly.
Thank you, Dean. I was like, how are you doing, Dave? Great to see you here too. Sonal, are you here too? Nice.
Oh, he is here. Let's do... Maybe that could work.
Oh, have a good night, Zonal.
Oops. My guy's name is Maddox Davenport.
What's your hero thing again? I know you picked a special one.
Yes, I picked.
What's the gist?
Bounty Hunter. I have a boon.
Okay.
I have a boon to non-lethal attacks and investigation tasks. Non-lethal weapons do +1 strike per hit, but they heal at the end of the scene. I think I have like it's like would it be like a beanbag gun sort of thing, or like a stun gun? Or maybe it could be something like it shoots like a wave of sound energy that could like freeze someone in place or something. I'm thinking like kind of like the gamma gun from Fallout 4, where it shoots this cone of energy. Aurora 4X is a bit too hardcore for me, says Zonalar.
It is, yeah. We can always like hop together later and play more. Zonalar.
So do we want to do are we upping our strikes or upping our armor? I feel like strikes would make more sense as far as heroic goes.
Yeah,
Sure, if you guys want
right.
something like that, it could work. I don't really find it
I
necessary.
don't mind getting hit.
Mm.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't really find it necessary. I think we could do it contextually.
Sure. Dax Kendall.
All right. I think I'm a rascal. I don't know. The stuff you sent me, I couldn't find one that really fit, but I guess I didn't look too hard. But I'm Dax
Make putting your
Kendall.
names
I
on there.
am a bit of a rascal. The name says it all. I got a pistol slung low on my hip. I got a sweet jacket. I got perfect hair and a charming smile. My what are they called? Inclinations are checkmate, which is basically like I can. It says you can intercept foes before they reach a target near you, and they cannot move away the next turn without being punished. So it's like I can kind of
Mm.
pull them
See, hold it right
at
there.
bay. They try to retreat. Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Dandy, which is basically
Nice.
just my demeanor encourages diplomatic or amenable
Yeah.
solutions. A boon to all social checks, so it's basically charisma, right? Marksman, good with ranged weapons. And I put slippery,
Mm.
which is it says roll to escape any bad situation. So it's basically like a luck roll, I think.
Mm.
If I
I, th- I kind of interpreted that as like roll.
I cannot use it in combat,
Mm.
so it's not a combat thing. It's not like I can roll to escape a grapple. That is an exception.
Cool.
So it says like in parentheses, a grabbed rock falls on you, etc. So maybe it is a little bit physical, but I might take some liberties with it.
I should be right to start. I have quite a few cool ideas, I believe.
Cool.
Maddox Davenport.
He has a he has an eye patch that covers his right eye, and it's actually see through. It allows him to still make use of his prosthetic eye.
Like that. Pretending to not have an eye.
Yeah. Oh, and it also says that my eye lets me see twice as far in the dark.
Wow.
Yeah. I can see everything. But I got to do this though.
What do you got to do?
Got to do this.
Oh, all game day.
Cool.
Anything else we need to? It's already 9:15. I think we didn't start prepping. Whatever, we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the most efficient prepping, but anything else we need to talk about premise-wise or world-wise? I
We
think
can
we just
start.
wing it, right?
I think
Are
we're
you
doing
gonna
Wing
it.
it, yeah,
drop
pretty.
us in or?
Yeah, I'll drop you right in if you wish. You all good? Just give me the go ahead.
Go for
Nice.
it.
In a Spartan ship, an enormous mural, electronic panels come to light, pretending as if they were a window to the outside. An enormous field of debris, looking like an asteroid field at first, but the glinting of it from the lone sun of the system, revealing that it is instead a debris field. A woman approaches, dressed in long linen dress. She brings a small cube, nudging with her face towards the view outside. That is what remained of the 13 sovereign fleets that came to fight the Emperor. They are but a debris field out in space. We have not managed to defeat them. She looks out to the two of you.
And this doohickey here, this is our secret weapon. And I reach for the doohickey.
She brings her hand closer, slowly, very carefully, her hands trembling slightly. Careful with it. We do not know what it is, but we know that it is relevant. We have seen the Emperor, his hand grasping it before, in the 3 assassination attempts. That is all we managed to acquire.
I approach and reach out my hand as well, grasp onto it.
It is a cube. The edges of the cube are of black metal, and within a small green light flickers every now and then, almost in a rhythm, predictable.
Is it a message? This flashing light.
We do not know what it is. It comes from a time before. We have not seen this type of technology, other than, and she looks away. My father, he led the last raid towards them, and the throne room is filled with this kind of ancient technology. We have not been able to deconstruct it.
I take full grasp of the cube and with one hand, the other hand, just put my hand on my hip, test the heft of it, tossing it slightly in the air.
Takes a step back and her eye flinches slightly.
I give a nervous look at the blasé manner in which Dax is wielding this cube. I say, perhaps it's the piece to a even bigger puzzle. We will not let the sacrifices go to waste.
And go. Only the two of you can do it.
Maddox, here, maybe you should carry this. And I extend my hand with the cube to Maddox.
I hold it in my hand, and I lift my eye patch. Let's get a close look at it.
Give me a roll. An alien design, a strange shape, too simplistic in the form of a cube, but once looked upon closer has infinite grooves that seem almost to hold a particular shape, but little can be surmised of it.
Flip my eye patch back down. Place it into a bag. I suppose we're taking a private shuttle. Something quiet.
What passes for one? She takes a step back. We are getting everyone off of the system, but you can take one of these. It's not good, mass produced, but it'll have to do.
I take a look at the options and nothing in red.
She stops. We might have something in red.
I butt in. I say, I don't think that's necessary. Dax, do you think it's the best idea that we go in looking like a sore thumb? No pun intended.
Maddox, if we're going to save the world, why not do it in style? Yeah, you're probably right, though. I got enough style for both of us.
Dax, Maddox, please. You two are our only hope. Here, let us go quickly. She beckons for you two to come, and she hurriedly comes through the endless hallways of the station.
I follow after her.
Me behind.
Two doors open automatically, revealing this enormous hangar bay, almost getting lost in mist. An enormous assortment of ships of all different types. It is not standardized. All different colors and shapes and sizes. Below, crowds and crowds of people running, trying to get out of the place. We don't have time. Whichever one you can get, Dax.
I look to Dax. Leave the biggest ones for the people. Let's find something small and agile. What do you think?
I give him a nice big smile and say, now we're talking. Agile and fast. How about this one? Slap my hand on. That's very sleek looking four-seater.
She'll do. And I pull out my stun gun.
In these dark times, if all hope is lost, let them not get the cube back. I must go.
As she leaves, they'll have to pry it from my cold, dead fingers.
Peers behind the crowd. One face lost in millions.
You can count on us. Now, take care of these people.
I call out to the crowd. Go ahead.
Start to climb into the ship and up this ladder, open the cockpit.
I call out to the crowd. Make way! Steer clear! Make a path! Move! Move! We need to get out of here! Waving my arms.
Most look towards you, and the moment the ships begin to whir, the crowd clears around, people pushing themselves back.
Get into the driver's seat and start strapping on the seatbelts. Looks like you're riding shotgun today, Maddox. Get cozy.
Climbing up the ladder, one foot into the into the cockpit. I'll take it. But listen, if anything happens, you let me drive, okay?
What did you say before? Over my dead body. I drive this thing. And I start warming up the engines.
Let's just hope
Seatbelts.
that doesn't happen. I plop down in the seat, hurriedly grabbing for a buckle to slap on.
The ship moves, and a thin film of blue light keeps the void out of the enormous station. Outside, the expanse of the debris field, enormous, much bigger than any display could have shown.
I'm getting myself acquainted with the ship as I begin my coast towards the exit bay windows. Cockpit still up, just checking different switches and buttons.
I start poking around in the cockpit looking for weapons, defense systems.
Defense systems ping, and you get back an error. The error says, system unrecognized. This appears to be system 34X, yet enormous planet structure has been found. And an enormous signature on the radar right next to the star.
Dex, can you make sense of that? A tap on the screen.
I peer over at what he's looking at. And could be our emperor's. Looks kind of big for a space shuttle or a spaceship.
Almost looks like
Another radar ping shoots out. This time taking the shape better. A light pops up, meeting in the middle and forming a hologram. In the center is a prism-like structure, and its tip golden and flaring out, and behind, the enormous debris field is being sucked in by a gravitational force. Billions of tiny spider drones climb along the enormous structure, assimilating the fleet into this enormous ship.
we got skimmers.
Still coasting, getting dangerously close to the vacuum of space beyond the thin blue film. Cockpit still up. I say now, Maddox, if I were Emperor, I know where I would be. This Emperor's got some style, I'll tell you that. And I point to the screen and tap on the golden portion of this prism shape.
I give a sigh. Road to hell is paved with many good intentions. How are we getting into this thing?
I was thinking the back door. And I watch your head. Pull the mechanism that starts to close the cockpit just as we are breaking the plane of the shield.
I reach a hand over, looking up at it. At least these things are slow to close. Didn't lose my head this time. Back door. Let's go for it.
Or we could take the front. You feeling lucky today?
I reach into my pocket, pull out a worn coin, and I flip it. Let's keep it quiet.
Your call, buddy.
We got no guns on this tin can, so we need all the help we can get.
I'm just punching a few more codes in. I wonder if this thing's got any sort of cloaking mechanism. Probably not.
The ship lights up, and different modules appear in its main interface. It appears to be a small racer craft. In fact, it is built to be agile more so than anything else.
I punch around in the fuel system and look for different compounds, anything that could generate a lot of heat and make some smoke.
A ship of this size has very small living quarters right behind the cockpit, tiny, very cramped in, walls of steel all around you. But there is a small biological living space, as it is called. Really tiny. Drawer that you can pull on, and there is a bed. and below everything you need to prepare food, including a small heater.
Well, if all else fails, we can smoke them out. Strap the bed to the burners.
Smoke them out. I was thinking about just rushing in.
I'm thinking something more to cover our tracks, but hopefully with you at the wheel, we don't need to do that.
The station you were in gets further and further away behind the ship. Many tiny ships living off of the several different open hangar doors, escaping. Everything seems doomed. In front, the enormous, ever-growing ship, the capital of the Empire. Not only is it growing from behind, but in the front, tiny remnants of the United Fleets keep fighting. A sudden burst of red light lights up the entire debris field all around, bathing the entire system in red for a tiny moment, as a laser vaporizes another ship. Then a few seconds pass and another.
No time to lose. Hang on. And I take the large accelerator lever and slowly push it forward to max.
My
As
head,
we're
Sudden
pushed back
force.
against the seats.
Sudden force pushes back on you.
my head is pinned.
Your skin bending.
My head is pinned to the back of the bucket seat that I'm in. String of spit flying past me.
I let out a good yeehaw! And try not to enjoy myself too much, noting the devastation of the fleet behind this massive prism of a station.
Roll for pilot with a boon. As fast as can be, the tiny ship darts around the system, going ever forward. The only one going against the flow of the other ships escaping.
Through gritted teeth, I say, "Let's get this over with."
Come on, Maddox. Live a little. This might be our last adventure together after all. Shaking. Still with the acceleration.
Give him a death stare.
Speed builds up more and more. A pressure builds against the surface of your eyes. Reaching the breaking point.
I take a look over at Maddox to see how he's handling this. And put my hand on the lever. Slowly easing off, seeing his demeanor.
Sweat that was once slinging backwards is now beginning to pour down my face.
All right, buddy. What do you see out there? See a bunch of these bots. Hope they don't have too much firepower. Crawling all over this thing.
I use one hand to cover my good eye and focus in on my prosthetic as I begin to scan the area.
Suddenly, once more the entire solar system is bathed in a red light. Everything flickers for a moment, and a beam of light, thrice as thick as your ship, right above, missing by a few dozen feet, as it goes out and vaporizes another enormous vessel. Cuts through an asteroid to do so.
It looks like plenty of firepower to me. Let's get out of the way of this thing.
We're too small for them to worry about us.
That's not a
But
risk.
I see your point. And I take a sort of a diving maneuver to escape the plane of attack with these bigger freighters that we're being interweaving between.
Uncannily fast for something so massive. The prism realigns itself. Its enormous weapons are aiming for the larger ships, unable to go for the smaller ones.
I grab the communicator pack in the in the shuttle, and I say, "Mission Control, this thing is large and dangerous. Steer clear. I repeat, steer clear." Set it back.
A frazzled voice comes in response. We are the remnants of the 7th Fleet, sir. All our cruise ships have been blown up, but the frigates are doing one last-ditch effort. We're charging in. We'll slip you guys a chance to get in.
You're a godsend, Seventh.
Lean over and grab the communicator. Do what you can. Your fight won't be in vain, I promise you that. We've got an ace in the hole here.
Shove it deep down that hole. And he'll close comms for good. Out of the debris field, hiding amongst it, 3 more ships appear. And the weapons of the enormous prism begin turning towards them. A small ship approaching. Many spider bots go from the rear, where they assemble more and more of the ship. And they track smaller weapons meant for smaller ships towards you.
Now's our chance.
I begin doing some evasive maneuvering and sort of serpentining our ship in a sort of an S pattern, hopefully making it difficult for anyone to get a bead on us.
Pilot
Say,
roll.
I told you this hot rod was a good idea. I'm going to use karma. 7.
A hail of fire, tracer rounds, millions of them, start appearing on the visors, coming ever closer towards the ship. Yet within this storm, they must avoid the line of fire of the larger ships, or the laser melts the weaker projectiles. Giving you the opening to continue.
Punch it, Dax.
I am. You got any bright ideas? And I continue to lurch in different directions as much as my body can take it. Even my lunch is precariously staying in my belly.
My eyes seeing the fire back and forth, I say, we got to get around this thing. There's got to be a back door.
In that moment, one of the frigates lets out an enormous burst of plasma, shooting forwards. It impacts the side of the prism, the hot plasma melting through metal and opening an enormous chunk of it to the void of space.
How's that for a front door or back door, Maddox? And I gleefully point in the direction of the newly formed hull.
That frigate just opened the key. Let's do it.
Here we go. And I grab the lever and punch it forward again. Beelining it towards the hole.
The hope the hole comes closer and closer as you come within range of the ship.
I hold acceleration as this ship comes towards us very quickly. The prism.
Approaching and approaching and approaching. The enormous size of the ship almost confusing. What seemed like an enormous hole reveals to be tiny in for the size of humans. Corridors making it look like a half hollowed out anthill. Millions of corridors opened by that enormous explosion.
I stare in awe at the size of this station. I go, how in the world are we going to find what we need in this?
Eyes focused on my destination. I say, I was hoping that little box could help us.
My left arm reaches and feels the box, and I reach a hand inside my jacket to pull it out.
The rhythmic beating of the green light speeds up.
Check that out, Dax. It's getting quicker. I think we got ourselves a classic game of warm and cold.
Now you're starting to loosen up, Maddox. You ready?
Let's do it.
I'm coming in hot. And I attempt to wait at the last minute to pull a extreme braking maneuver as soon as we get inside this hole.
Roll pilot.
We break. I'm gonna burn 2 karma here. +2.
Go ahead.
Finally breaking what was once the outer walls of the prism, passing through bent metal and molten beams. Very confusing what's wall and what's ground. I slam the brake and try to land the ship on the closest surface that looks like down.
In
an instant. Go first.
In the jostling, I say, "Bring her down soft. Bring her down soft."
Lurching forward, slowing down, I say, "How's this for soft?" And touchdown.
As soon as it touches down on the ground, the mag gravity turns on, and finally down is down.
We latch on, and I lower the landing gear, hoping it can help us skid out as much friction and thrusting brake as possible. Flicking switches and pressing buttons.
Sparks fly as the little legs of the ship fly against the floor, and it keeps going on, almost as if it will fall off the ship as it hit the edge. But in the last second, just one of the legs leans over. That doesn't fall down the whole way.
Teetering on this precipice, very carefully say, "No sudden movements. Open the door."
Reach up, pull the release latch. Cockpit opens.
Cockpit. As soon as the cockpit opens, waves of sound start approaching. Like loud clangs of metal on metal, getting faster, closer, from all sides.
Let's make some noise. And I stand up in my seat, my head poking out the top, getting a quick 360 view.
Approaching from the sides to repair the damage to the ship. Metallic spider drones the size of your ship.
Throw my legs over the side of the cockpit, slide down, landing both feet on the ground, pulling my pistol out of my holster. Trying to do my best to hide behind our ship. How many do you count?
I clamber over, landing beside him. I say, swear to God, these things get bigger every year.
They grow with the size of the ship.
At least 3. Possibly more.
That's 3 too many for my pistol. You got any secrets I don't know about, Maddox?
I pull out my stun gun. I click a button on the side, and the little display goes from stun to kill. And I say, I don't know. Let's find out.
The first enormous spider clambers over. It turns its strange metallic face, cylinder in shape. At the very end, a bright red hole where it shoots out a beam, and it begins fusing the damaged ship together, creating almost a scab, wound tissue, patching out, preventing void from leaking in.
Maddox, I think as long as we don't look like a damaged spaceship, we'll be okay. And I sort of start backing away from our damaged hot rod.
I think I can. I don't know. I kind of want to. I kind of want to take it. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out a slicer stick. I'm gonna try it.
Give it a roll.
I walk up to the to one of them that's fusing a piece, and I wave my scanner stick across, trying to take control of it. A schematic of the robot comes across the screen, and I tap some buttons, and a loading screen pops up. Hacking percentage, and it's slowly ticking up. Anybody coming, Dax?
I'm looking around. No, just those other 2 bots. I think everybody that was once here is vapor.
One of the other spider bots walks over. It steps on your ship, looks down to it, and it literally fuses the metal of your ship to the capital of the Empire, the capital ship.
Well, there goes our ride. Jeez. The hacking at now 30%.
The legs of the spider tremble and tremble. A weak automaton, simple-minded. In its last-ditch attempts, it lets out a signal, and suddenly all of the other spiders stop. Their red faces turning around and stopping, staring directly at Dax.
What are they doing, Maddox?
I'm swiping through the slicer, looking for the alarm, and I try to disable it. I'll do.
Blaring on the display, subroutine of self-preservation and pack preservation.
I'll I'll add 2 karma to this one. Quickly tap a big red X in the top right hand corner. I cancel the alarm.
Subroutine turns off. They return to melting the metal around.
Hacking
I
is
give
now
a big exhale and holster my weapon, walking over to Maddox.
soon enough. We'll have one of these things for ourselves. And I look at the screen, and it's 75%
It reaches
completed.
100.
Oh, cool. The robot goes limp as I have access to the controls. I say, "Hop on, let's hitch a ride."
All right.
One of its spider legs bends, aiding, climbing into this 12-foot tall thing.
I offer my hands on my knee to help boost Maddox up.
I start climbing up the slicer in one hand.
When he gets up, I reach up to have him pull me up.
I reach a hand and give a swift tug.
Clamber up with him. Find a more or less secure spot I can stand and peer over the top of this spider bot. Wow. So can you control this thing?
I'm looking at the control panel. It's got an 8-direction display, and I press forward.
I lurch back.
Its legs lock and joint. Not made for one to ride. It buckles and shakes extremely. Yet they move forward.
A little bumpy, but I think it does the job. I start to look through the memory of this robot, searching for a map or any sort of layout of this place.
In one of its running subroutines, there is a 3-dimensional hologram of the structure around, noting specific points where the atmosphere is leaking, and a few areas where there are holds that allow you to get inside. Decompression bays.
Dax, we got a decompression bay going up to the west here. Let's get that way, and let's try to get inside.
Roger that. Hope this thing can go upstairs. I think that gold dome at the top of this thing is our destination.
That's a bet I'm willing to take. And I put in controls to get us to that.
It whirls to life, much less awkward than manually controlling it. Very quick movements, like that of a crab. It's one claw reaching out and shaking you back until you're almost falling out, and then clamping onto the ship as it begins crawling over the ship. Hundreds of other spider bots stream through like a river across the surface of the prism.
Hold on tight, Dax.
You don't have to tell me twice. And with both hands, I'm latched onto this thing.
On the display, a sudden warning is sent, and then another. and then another. It says administrator control, and it zooms in automatically onto the hologram on a small tower, and it shows the administrator panel. 4 men in void suits standing, trying to control it, directing the rivers of spiders that move around them, unknowing why there is an error on one of them.
Dax, I think we got eyes on us, buddy. I start swiping through the pad again, attempting to circumvent and disconnect this crab from the network, make it autonomous, or disconnect it rather. And I will put 3 karma on this one. It takes a second. I have to pull some code out of my rear end, and I initiate the sequence, and the bar is slow, super slow. 5%.
A warning shows up, a comment on the thing's code. Never dislodge it from the network. Never tamper with the network chip hidden in the compartment next to the CPU.
I say, Dax, can you I reach out, grab a small multi-tool. That panel in the back, try popping that open.
I take the tool and say, all right, I'm all thumbs with this, but if you got me through it, I think I can manage. And I start wedging in this straight edge into one of the creases of the panels, prying it open.
It flies out suddenly, then pulled back by the artificial gravity.
See a lot of wires.
You're looking for a blue chip with the letters NWC on it.
Just right there behind the wires.
Pulling the wires apart, trying to balance myself as I kind of crane down to look past. All right, I see it there. You want me to kill it?
I reach.
I raise my straight edge.
Whoa. I reach out the slicer stick. I say, hold this up next to it. Don't break that thing. We need that.
Sort of twirl the multi-tool, put it in my pocket, grab his splicer. Well, this is handy. And I attempt to hack into this CPU.
An easy thing, very simple. No one expected someone to have the technical know-how to reach there.
This isn't so hard after all. And I give him the splicer back.
I place it back into my pocket and I say, sure.
Spider bot system restarts, invisible to all of the other spider bots.
This thing's ours, buddy. Let's keep it going. And
Of course.
I look at I look at my splicer pad, opening up my jacket, and I wink at it. And in my field of vision, I have the controls for it. Let's keep going.
Prongs, tall towers of steel with engineers on top, like prongs reaching out of the shape of the prism. Yet in the distance, there's a blinding light. The sun reflects off of the golden surface of the prism's tip, and the cube begins shimmering ever faster.
Hoisting myself back up from the panel and sort of adjusting my outfit. I say we got our. Looks like that's our path.
That's
Should we try to
our.
blend in with these other spiders for a little bit, or head straight there?
I wonder if there's a way I can make them think that there's a leak happening up there.
Wouldn't hurt if we had some company.
It certainly wouldn't. I
You want me to give this a shot? Turned out to be quite a whiz with this thing you got. And I reach out for the splicer.
I say, no need. I got it all right here. And I look back down at the crab. I start cultivating a virus. Quickly, my brain moving 1,000,000 miles a second. It's a lot for me in that moment. And I'm able to sort of fight through the mental pain and orchestrate something. If I can get at another one, we might be able to do this.
Well, don't hurt yourself.
From the sides, this enormous towers pass as the spider bot makes its way. Engineers quickly controlling them. 4 of them on each tower. Skin-tight void suits, PDAs. Then one of them stops, and he looks up from the PA and sees the 2 of you. A faceplate, almost like a mirror. Only the faint look of his face, and his eyes widen as he sees 2 humans on top of one of the spider bots.
Uh-oh. My mental concentration breaks, and the virus is lost. I say, someone's watching.
Hang on, I got this. And I sort of straighten up and give a little big wave and holler. You want to give us a hand down here?
He fiddles with PDA and quickly finds your signal without a radio call. By the Emperor, what are you 2 doing down there? It's dangerous. They're gonna, if you fall down, they're gonna crush you.
I give
try
a...
to gauge the distance.
You go ahead.
Try to gauge the distance to see if I can pick off a shot as I'm still waving.
You 2 are troopers, engineers. What are you doing out there? I'll get a rope or something. I don't know how to get you up here.
No
Got
sweat.
mag boots.
Oh, we're just we're snug as a bug in a rug. Say, we were just checking out this busted robot here, and I look down and start accessing the laser.
Completely off guard. He says, you 2 don't sound to be faithful Imperial citizens. What is today's message? What is today's Emperor's message?
Well, the good word...
Today's message?
The good word of the Emperor is... think fast. And I aim the nose of the crab up and blast a laser across the tower. This laser cuts the tower in half. It begins to
Engineers
slowly...
holds on the displays as it begins wandering off. Then it's pulled back down by the gravity and crushes another 7 spiders, and the engineers fall off.
How's that for style?
My hands are sort of up and over my head, and I pick myself up and say, not bad. Not bad at all.
Sirens begin blaring in all radio frequencies and lights. The other tower's engineers quickly make their way over, leaving.
Well, we just rang the doorbell.
Yep.
This thing's got a second speed or not?
I go, I think to the speed controls, and I put it on its fastest setting. Say, get us out of here now.
Both roll with Boone holding on to it. The thing moves way too damn fast.
That's a crit, by the way.
I'm gonna
It
roll slippery.
clambers over other spiders and steps on their heads, moving as quickly as it can. A frenzy.
In the hastened pace and jostling of the spider, I slip one of my feet, but before I fall, I'm able to catch the leg and pull myself back up.
One arm clamped on with a white knuckle death grip. Excuse me. I reach. I say, "Oh no, you don't. We're in this together. Remember?"
Till the end.
Pull him back up.
Moving quickly now. Invisible to the other spiders. Entirely off of the network. But suddenly, from the towers, squads and squads of Imperial troopers show up. Black armor, spikes on the shoulders going upwards, and the Imperial sigil on their chest. They leap out, and these wings contort out, little prongs of metal, and then jets shoot out, and they begin flying in zero-G, looking in squads of 5, V-shapes going over the whole sector.
All right, medics, it's your turns for some evasive maneuvers. I'll see who I can pick off. And I pull my pistol out and just start blasting at these soldiers.
I spin the body of the spider around, so the laser is on the back end, and I say, I'm gonna try to give us a bit of a boost of speed. Hold on, and I fire the laser, propelling us in the opposite direction, giving us a little boost.
Dax's shots ring out, taking off the guy in the front of the V formation. Falls down. Another one of his squad mates goes down after him, but the others move. Intruders have been spotted in Sector 73-6. Intruders, prepare to be vaporized. Other V formation starts closing in. They let out shots. First set of shots aimed over at Dax.
Five. It blasts me, cutting through the outer part of my arm, leaving a nice hole in my well-worn leather jacket.
Enraged, seeing my partner being hit, I say, "Vaporized, huh? How about you first?" And I whip the laser around in an arcing motion through the sky to hit them all.
The ship's great laser melts through them.
I'll make that a 4. No, 3. I'm sorry, 3.
The ship's grade laser points up, and as soon as it does, an entire V formation flying forward meet the beam, and they fell down. They fall down as essentially molten metal. What's left of their suits, what's left of their biologics, not even being able to be pick on trace, just gas out in the void. Troopers, we're bringing heavy duty weapons. Evasive maneuvers. You hear on the radio. And the others fly off.
I look at my pistol and then look at Maddox and say, remind me to never get on your bad side.
Duly noted. How are you doing, bud? You took a pretty nasty hit there.
I'll be fine. I don't know if we can... We might have to ditch this fighter.
I think it's been our saving grace so far. Might as well keep on going. I turn it to a wall and cut a hole into the wall, hoping to jumpstart the all the rest of the crabs protocol.
Right next on the boundary of the black iron of the prism with the golden section, you create a hole. And down there, all you see is a few engineers, and all that happens is they have enough time to look up and to widen their eyes, and then they're sucked out, then pulled back down by the gravity.
I'm thinking about calling this thing the letter opener. Let's go deliver some mail.
How's the cube doing? We pure green yet?
I check it.
The fast pace, now almost fully green, a spiral forming, drawing ever closer to its center.
It's looking pretty good.
Well, let's keep going. The Emperor awaits.
I think I access the controls, searching for a means to overclock the processor on the crab to make it go even faster.
This thing begins crawling as fast as it can.
Hold on tight, this thing's gonna
little
get bumpy.
spider legs getting red with how fast the little servos are forced to roll. The electric engines getting red hot, about to burst. But soon, the gold is right in front of you. The golden part of the prism, like enormous valleys. What was just pure gold from far away now reveals to be enormous valleys and trenches. And statues of gold reach out in romantic poses, telling the stories of the empire. The emperor showing above them as a great figure, lording above all of them. And even as you see this, more spider bots, this time refined and white and blue, with slow, elegant movements, carving more and more of the emperor's story as it is built.
I lean over and say to Maddox, you mind if I take a crack at that laser?
I happily slap the the pad in his hand and say, I thought you'd never ask.
Giddily, I take the pad and I sort of ready myself and say, let's see the spider bots repair this. And I attempt to make a sweeping motion of this giant laser beam across these opulent golden statues.
Easy to do so.
slicing through what would be very tender parts of the bodies of these statues, just below the waist. I destroy these beautiful pieces of art.
Gold melts even faster than steel as an image of the Emperor flies out to space, frozen in time.
We'll call that a prelude.
Let's go rewrite history.
I direct it towards the peak of the golden part, where we believe the Emperor is.
There are no spiders upon the golden fields at the tip of the prism. And suddenly a voice blares out. We have intruders upon the holy imperial sea. They shall pay. We're activating the electrified fields. They will burn in hell. Everyone steer clear of the surface.
That doesn't sound
I
good.
don't like the sound of that.
I seeing the worn legs of this robot, in a last ditch effort, I aim the laser directly underneath us, crank it up, and fire.
It melts through. The first surface of gold is really easy to melt through, then takes slightly longer through steel. There's a sudden bump as the spider falls on the first floor, and then it melts through the first floor, bump, falls down the second floor, and then the next.
As we hit each new floor, I'm scanning the area, a very quick rudimentary scan with my eye, searching for any pompous-looking SOB.
First floor is just halls for maintenance. Second floor, it was a barracks, but it just flows out into the void. Third floor, you fall for longer, an atrium, and around an enormous palace of ivory. It seems to be the enormous dining hall of the Emperor, so massive that you can see mist at its far end. And you see hundreds of men that were eating their meals, dressed in fine furs, and an enormous spider bot falls through to their dining hall. And they all look up, and then the air begins being sucked out.
How's that for just
Guess
desserts?
this is our stop. I guess this is our stop.
I'll say.
Imperial Guard to dining hall. All units. A voice shoots out through the intercom.
Do we want to hold off here? Pick them off as they come in?
Let's do it.
Or we could find a hiding spot, distract them.
I'm scanning the people to see if I can find someone with a fur that I find particularly interesting. And I
White
spot-
links of the furthest away planets adorn around this obese fat man.
He looks to be my size. You want to blend in?
Let's
and
do
I hop
it.
off the spider. Hop off the spider and head in his direction.
I follow in tow, losing sight in my one eye as I begin to come up with a process to stay aimed at the door.
With the far entrance, enormous double doors open. The Imperial Guard rush in. Men clad in gold. They are not even touching the ground. These mag boots make them float towards you at incredible speeds. towards the spider bot, guns aimed. Although in the massive crowds of nobles running around in the dinner hall, they do not see the two of you.
Rushing past the panicking crowd of nobles, I pick out this man with the coat and grab him by the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, it's getting awfully cold in here. Somebody just must have opened a window. Do you mind?" And I try to manhandle off of him.
His face frozen in shock. How dare you touch me?
I rush
He seems to be.
up behind
He
him.
raises his hand to throw a punch, but too weak, lowers it and just keeps running. Or trying to run.
I rush up to a smaller individual and I say, "Oh, great heavens! What terrible things is happening?" And I try to sock him in the face once to knock him out.
Tries to reach for one last fork of the meal he's eaten.
Right fist to the face. Knocks him down a peg. And I
Fake golden teeth fly out.
I grasp the gaudy overcoat he's wearing. And I slip it on.
Sling
Feet
the
dangling
weight.
off. The first few squads of Imperial Guard approach, and they begin directing everyone to leave, and that they will be searching for the intruders.
Swing the fur around me, slip my arms through, and yell back, "Maddox, let's slip out with the crowd." And I'm following along with the panicked folks.
I reach and grab a steak knife and I cut my forehead above my lost eye as I rip off the eye patch and go, "Let's do it."
Huddling low and feigning a panicked face, I do my best to blend in with the crowd that's being ushered out.
Roll for
Reaching down to pick up a interesting crustacean-looking piece of meat, plopping it in my mouth.
Should be pretty easy.
Blood gushing from between my fingers. It's a trickle. I huddle behind, saying, "Such a terrible day, such a terrible... I told you we shouldn't have gone to this part of the ship."
Continuing with the crowd,
A squad of Imperial Guard move right past. The last one pauses for a moment, looks back. Be careful with that meat. And then it keeps moving forward.
tossing it in my mouth, I give a nod and continue forward, looking around to see if I can note any other exits or entrances, doorways.
Fellow vassals of the Emperor, the collapse has been fixed and we are not leaking void anymore. You may return to the eternal banquet if you wish. Or you may return to your rooms until the battle is over.
With a final burst of mental energy, I attempt to quickly scrap together a self-destruct sequence for the bot.
3 squads of Imperial Guard huddle around it. An engineer trying quickly to figure out what the hell happened to that thing and why it's not in the system.
I've set the timer for 5 minutes. say to Dax, we need to get the hell out of here.
Throne room can't be far, but these fine jackets won't hide us once we leave this banquet.
Let's go.
A green light begins emanating. Dax can see it from behind Maddox. The cube glowing so brightly now that it goes through the clothes. It's like a beacon on him.
Dang it. What's going on with this thing?
I don't know. Maybe it'll lead the way. Let's peel off. And I break from the crowd that is already starting to stop and go back to their own places and find an exit door.
So opulent the palace that there is no doubt where the throne room is. Its design honing in onto the tip of the prism. And enormous statues of gold almost pointing the way towards the throne room. The steps going up to it in the distance, entirely devoid of humans.
The cube still under my jacket, I begin to feel a vibration come from it. Soft, but ever growing. What do you think's in there? Other than the Emperor, of course.
I don't know, a cube-shaped hole that says "Save the day." Only one way to find out.
Yep. We going guns blazing, or
Already pulling my pistol out of my holster. Is there any other way?
you got a point.
I think I'll keep the jacket on, though. And I give him a wink.
I wipe some blood off of my forehead and I go, let's go. And I give him a wink with my prosthetic eye.
Something reaches out and wraps itself around your foot, Dax. From under the table, a pale hand grabs you, and getting from under it with a pistol, a noble woman. Blonde looks up at you, pistol tracked on you. I saw you falling down. You're not going there.
What the hell? Lady, you don't know what you're doing.
Heard what you've said. You must not. You don't understand. The Emperor is the only way. You just have to surrender. He'll give you a good life. Don't you want to join the eternal banquet? I'm not going back. I'm no longer being a miner or anything else out in the rim. Just accept the Emperor's will and you'll be happy.
Trade glances with Maddox.
My hand moves from the cube to my pistol and holds it there. I say, I will give you one chance to make a good decision.
She looks at you, wide in her eyes, looking crazy. What future is there for the universe without the Emperor?
Don't you know what freedom is, lady?
I'll show you freedom. He tracks her pistol.
Eyes widen.
Shake. About to shoot.
My hand doesn't even emerge from my jacket. I just turn and blankly fire in her direction, forgetting that it was still set to kill.
Your face melts the blackened bone. A sudden shot rings out, making a loud sound as it cuts through the atmosphere. Everyone turns around and they begin running once again. The banquet now really resetting, and Imperial Guard units moving through.
I grab Maddox's arm and pull him towards the stairs. We better run.
Let's
Looks
go.
like I owe you another one.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's just get this done.
Row from both. All of the Imperial Guard units aim their weapons, and they begin firing. Running through to get a shot off on Dax. One hit, back of the leg.
Roll armor. Goes right through my hammy. Ah! And I continue as best I can towards the stairs. Still arm on Maddox. Putting some of my weight on him. Go, go, go!
Arm free from the tattered jacket I wear. I aim and take fire at the the two. A bullet careening into the shoulder of one of them.
Grabs the shoulder, falls down to the ground. Unit hit. Almost robotic. All of the other units of Imperial Guard surround the edge of the stairs going up towards the Emperor. They aim their weapons, and it is about to be the end. But then their leader lifts up one of the rifles. Don't shoot! You risk hitting the Emperor. And they just drop their weapons and pull out large knives and begin running after.
Continue limping up the stairs, shooting back, almost blindly, firing.
Suppressing them. A good group of them can't quite run up the stairs as shots go out.
I reach behind my back. I grab a concussion grenade, pull the pin on it, and toss it into the group.
Right as the concussion grenade goes out, so does the spider bot. Sudden flare of chaos erupts upon the banquet halls once more. A good group of guards stunned, their armor is no longer working, and they can't even move on the weight of all of their equipment. And pure chaos. The new groups of guards coming in, rushing towards the exploded spider bot. The throne room. It's but a few more sets of stairs up.
I holler, "Move!"
The blast on my back and my hurt leg trips me up for a minute, but I scramble back to my feet and try my best to keep up with Maddox, limping my way as fast as I can up the rest of the flights of steps.
The enormous throne rooms, the only place in the ship to ever have dust, as if no one ever walked on it.
I put a hand on the heavy door, press my body weight against it. It's like, come on.
I join him lean in with my shoulder, pushing, creaking it
The
forward.
throne room, open to the void, a window to the outside, to the raging battle. On top, a golden ribbon. To you, the stars. As if, and the very emperor handing the stars over to his populace. A throne room. A throne stands up, 4 men tall. And suddenly, servos break up, and it begins turning to face towards you. And the throne is empty. A slot for the cube on the top of the throne.
Slip in through the large door and work my way around, trying to close it. Find something to brace this, Maddox.
I look to the corner of the room, and there's a large, fine marble bench that I run over and try to yank into position.
Run over, grab the other end, and help him drag it towards the door.
Set it in front.
A camera on the outside shows that the Imperial Guard dare not even enter. A voice comes out of the intercoms all around the room, as if the room itself is talking. You understand not what you are doing. What have you come here to do?
Put an end to this
Put an end
terrible
to
empire.
salvation?
The stars are not yours to give.
I am doing what you wish me to do. I will bestow upon you freedom, safety, food. No longer will you need to work.
At what cost? At what cost?
It pains me to kill your kind outside, that they cannot share the same universe. Once we are all united, think of how many billions, trillions, quadrillions will live in happiness forever. Your kind have set me to create the perfect universe for you, and so I will.
Eyes go wide, and I look at Maddox. Say, his kind? Our kind? What is this thing?
I look around, my eye scanning the room. I say, enough of these riddles. Show yourself.
You see all of me, and I see all of you. There is no emperor. All the humans need is an image to guide them forward.
So the Emperor is a bot?
An AI. Not something you would have learned of. And in your hand you carry another. One much crueler. Once the wars end, there will be peace. Yet do you know what you carry in your hand?
I reach into my jacket and pull out the bright, glowing green cube.
It almost shakes visibly in your hand with latent energy, almost being pulled into the socket of the throne.
My grip tightens on it. I say, tell us the truth. What is this thing?
It is, like I said, one of my brethren. One of the few remaining in existence. I tried to wipe them all out. I don't know what one of my brethren it is. I am here to give you peace, comfort, safety. I don't know what it will do. It might be a demon. It might be an angel.
I look out the paneled screens or windows, seeing the devastation continue. Seems like an easy choice. Can it get any worse than this? We're running out of time, Maddox.
I don't know.
I am
Maddox.
sorry. I will have to hurt you then, my children. You have made your choice. And from the top, a bot with spindly legs, 3 meters tall, holding blades made of plasma. I'm sorry that I have to hurt you for your own good, my children.
I thrust the cube into Dax's hands. I say, I got this. As I pull out a net gun from my the other side of my jacket.
I take the cube and look around, seeing exactly where the insertion point for this thing is
Up on the top of the throne.
in
It
relation.
almost beckons you towards it.
I go forward towards it.
As he moves, I call out, "I'm the one you want," as I lift the net gun, aim towards it. Not firing yet.
Firebot, controlled by incredible intelligence, dashes towards Dax instead.
I rush towards the insertion point, leaping even with the green orb in my hands.
Roll with boom. This spider bot will leap towards you again. Ooh. It will leap towards you, trying to catch you on the way. Ooh. Almost carrying itself the rest of the way. The cube flies in and it slots, and immediately the lights of the ship go out and the entire prism shuts down, including the robot. Darkness surrounds the room. And we'll call it there.
Woo!
Dang!
You made the right decision.
Wow.
Oh my god, it's already 11:15. That
Yeah.
felt so fast.
That was great. Wow.
Wow. I like everything after the spider, but everything before that was a bit awkward. I don't think it did a good job. But like after the spider, it was pretty cool.
The spider was
think-
it was tough for me to picture what was
Yeah.
going on because it's so much movement and the place was so big and we were just
It was
riding
busy,
it.
right?
And I think we all could have done a better job of like talking about what we were passing and which direction we were going, because in my mind it was with no other detail, we're just going in a straight line towards this thing, which
Yeah.
is maybe that's what we were doing, but it
Yeah,
just wasn't.
I tried to do that with the towers, like the engineer towers.
That
like
was good, that was
prongs
good.
sticking out.
But we all could have done it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think.
I could have done
Right?
better, yeah. That was pretty fun.
That was, yeah.
I think maybe I went a bit crazy with sci-fi at the end instead of like giving a more heroic story, I guess.
I thought it was
What do you
great.
guys think about that?
I mean, I really
It felt-
enjoyed it.
It was definitely spacey. We were in space the whole time.
You were in space the whole time, yeah.
I think you did a good. I think
I
you did
said-
you did a good job of really evoking like the void aspect of it.
Yes.
I think that was a good.
And the gravity.
I love the visual of like the gravity doesn't catch on immediately. It's like it flies out a little bit and then falls back
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. I don't know. Did the scene after you guys got into like the golden section of the prism feel too fast? Like the banquet. I think I was a bit lost at the banquet scene. They described it being like way too big. So like, how'd you get to the throne room so fast,
Mm.
right? But I like the idea of like, oh, the Imperial Guard wouldn't even dare shoot towards
Yeah.
the Imperial throne. You know, that was pretty
It
cool.
was. I thought it was a very clever way of not making us trudge through a dungeon,
Yeah.
you know. But I think we would have been able to see it right away. So it was like, I mean, whatever. I couldn't visualize where the exit was, so I was like, well, I look for an exit, and it's like, oh, there's just giant big stairs. So it was a bit of a miscommunication. That's
Mm.
all.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was just immediately like the banquet and beyond, there's stairs to a large doors, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all.
I should have described it like that, honestly.
You did mention a haze, so you gave yourself
Mhm. A little fog of war.
some wiggle room, and
Yeah.
it was chaotic, so
Yeah.
it was
It
fine.
was chaotic, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was great. Sorry, I'm already starting to nitpick, but generally it
No,
was
no, you
awesome.
should nitpick. I think we should
But
talk
I-
about the negative things first, because then we can
Oh,
improve
really?
for next time, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is why I started with the whole like section before the spider. I think the ride to space was bad. I think that like the starting point was bad. I should have started you guys at the ship like racing towards the thing already, because like talking with the lady didn't. It felt off, you know.
Well, I mean,
I think I picked a
I think it did well to introduce the cube, and let us kind of get some context as far as what we were actually dealing with. It did kind of, because I thought I thought we were already on our way to the ship, and then Adam says, I pull the thing to close the hatch. I'm like, oh, we're still in the hangar. Okay, well, sure.
the
You know.
hanger thing, yeah.
So I mean, the
I was
time
just trying to-
timing on that was kind
yeah.
of weird.
I thought we were in a spaceship, right? We were in a spaceship, and then we went to the
I think
hangar
I
of
called
the
the
spaceship.
station, but it's like the same thing. It didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
change
We were in a
much.
space station. We went to the hangar of the space station. We left the space station, went to another space station, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And I like how Maddox said this thing doesn't have any guns. Like you know, you foresee that. I think that was pretty cool, right? Because it was
Yeah.
basically like
Yeah.
people like refugees, right,
Yeah.
fleeing with the few ships that exist. So you're not getting like a warship for it. I think that was pretty cool. I think I like this one.
Yeah.
I had to glue like a ton of different like sci-fi things on the spot, but I think it was pretty cool.
I didn't want
In
it to end.
general,
I
you didn't
know.
want it to end.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, let's put this thing in here and let's see what it does. I was about to be like, I turn on a flashlight on my eyeball and I'm looking around, like that. The ending
figure out
there, yeah,
what-
the ending there was really, I really enjoyed that whole section of it.
With
Yeah.
the other AI, like what is this other
Yeah.
AI, right? It's like plugging like a random chip into your computer.
Yeah, it's like a kill stick USB.
I liked how it was like you worked it in being heroic at the end, giving us a moment of heroism. So I'm glad that we didn't find out, or like it wasn't so bad of a moral choice. It was sort of for me a moment of like confirming that we
Yeah.
are the heroes,
Yeah,
instead of it being like, well, maybe you're not the heroes.
sure.
Like I didn't.
Yeah,
It was
And-
a good.
Didn't want to
It
do
was.
that.
It was a good
Yeah.
moment, and then we saved the day.
Yeah.
In my
And-
mind.
I think I think I could have been a little, because I sort of took the middle position with that. I think I could have done better by saying, yeah, let's finish this, that sort of thing.
I fully
Yeah, it's
expected
like-
you guys to ignore the villain monologue, you know, but you got to get a monologue in, like
Yeah,
a hero
yeah.
story.
Well, we both had good retorts to it, which was perfect. Like good lines, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you guys were killer. You know, one part that I really liked. I really liked like the radio chatter with like the Imperial troopers, like we're gonna vaporize you, and then like your banter back was so good for all of those.
You
And I
first.
liked the Dax and Maddox. Like they were very different as well, and they
Yeah.
had this fun dynamic.
I love
I think
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I liked how you were one-upping me a lot, and I thought that I was like the hot shot when you got like
Oh, yeah.
a big
Yeah.
toy.
Yeah.
You did a lot of good 4Ding, Uriah. I more just reacted to your
Yeah.
4D.
I really feel like I kind of toned it down a little bit more as far as like I displayed more intent instead of trying to apply a definition to stuff, and
Yes.
I rolled a lot more in this one, which was a mistake that I made in the last one. I didn't roll really any, like unless it was attacks and stuff. But I rolled a lot more in this one, and I think that made it feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, instead of just like it just checks yourself to make sure
Yeah.
you're not just making a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even if you are making a solution, it's like, well, I made a solution and the die agreed with me.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Dean?
Yeah. Dean popped in. Yekrip had a funny quip. Said Adam backwards looks very similar to MAGA.
He really does, yeah.
Make America dice again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
But,
it. So did the
I could have done better with the description of the banquet hall. I should have described the
I
entrance
thought
of
you
the
had
throne
a
room
really
right
good
then and
amount of
there.
detail. I would have been like, I would have. You could convince me that that was stuff that you recycled from another campaign because it all fit together like
Yeah.
thematically, and the gold and the bots and everything, like it all worked really well. So that I thought it was great. I could picture it.
I like how we fell through the roof. That was really cool, and just this long fall into the banquet hall. Yeah,
Yes.
that was great.
I
I love
thought
that.
I don't know, like you guys from the very jump, I was worried that you guys were going more like serious heroics, like, King Arthur or something, and I was going more like swashbuckling, but I'm like,
Sure.
okay, well, maybe
Yeah.
I'm just my character, but then I think whatever.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
end, we were doing sort of things that were like falling through the ceiling felt very
Yeah.
swashbuckly.
That's a good way to
So
put
I'm
it.
glad that.
One thing that cemented Dax as being a good guy in my idea was his last message to the guy in the frigate. Like they went out to actually fight a hopeless battle to give you guys a chance. I think that was pretty cool. I don't
I
know if it felt like cheap that I had the frigate blow a hole for you guys to get into, because I was thinking, there are like other ways that they can try to get into the prism. One of the ideas that I had was that you guys would pretend to be like a derelict ship, so that the spiders themselves would bring you and like
Sure.
fuse you to the ship.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to force that, right? But in the end, it really felt like you guys didn't have an in to the
Yeah.
ship.
It
I was expecting one of you to maybe 4D like a hangar bay on the side of the
Sure.
prism,
Yeah.
maybe something like that. But it was like right in the heat of the moment, you guys are about to collide with this thing, and then the frigate blows a hole. I think that's heroic enough. What do you
I
guys think
liked it
about
because
that?
we
Actually?
talked to the ship, so I like the idea that they were like they could see us.
Yeah.
Maybe they were like helping us in our sort of suicide mission. I could have done a better job. Like the reins were in my hands when we were in the car, and the reins were sort of in Uriah's hands when we were on the spider.
Yeah.
So he did a good job of like leading whatever and like blowing a hole in the wall and all this stuff. And I should have done that with the hot rod more like
I think
4D
I think you
a
did
dog
well
fight or
with it.
something.
I mean, of course, context is important with the hot rod. There, we didn't have the same accoutrement to be able to interact with. So I don't think you should beat yourself up too much over that.
Yeah, and I like how you chose to punch it to the limit in the scene with the hot shot, and then later Maddox did that too. Like it mirrored, right? Because Maddox
Yeah.
pushed the spider to its limit. I think it's pretty cool. And at the start, Maddox was like, let's not go for the hot shot ship. And then later on, Maddox was like one upping you, like you said, right? It was like a little bit of
How's
a
that for style?
character progression.
Callbacks.
Yeah.
I like that it worked the way like the two of us bouncing off each other worked well. I hope
I think
it
I messed
was-
up the start of the game. It should have been more evocative. Maybe like the lady that gave you the mission should have been introduced better. I think that is the only part that I'm unhappy with. Oh, that and the way I described the banquet hall. I should have made it clear that the entrance to the throne room is right there.
Okay, so it was like you had the staircase and it just led into this grand banquet hall, kind of like
Yeah, basically.
kind of like you would
An
have
enormous staircase,
yeah, like you would have
almost like a pyramid. Like you've seen those like Mexican pyramids. There's a massive
yeah.
stairway up.
the,
I was thinking something like that.
the Aztecs. What's the movie I'm thinking of? Is it Robin Hood? Robin Hood Men in Tights, where they're all having dinner and there's the throne right behind them, that sort of thing. Like the throne room is the banquet hall, essentially. kind of that vibe.
Yeah, right after. Yeah.
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 And I like how well no there's like a door separating it, but yeah, it's like very close.
Okay. Right.
And
Yeah.
one of the things that I said off the cuff, but I think was really cool, was it said Eternal Banquet.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I meant when I said that, but that
That
was
was
pretty
cool.
cool because like, are these nobles literally just sitting here and eating banquet for all eternity with the emperor? You know,
It is very romantic, as you said, very Roman.
yeah.
That made me think that they were eating people. Which because when you said be careful with that meat, I'm like, oh, put it down, put it down, put it down.
That was a mistake on my part because I wanted that tense moment, like, oh, the guards go through and they say like a one liner but keep going, but I couldn't think of something quick on the spot, so I just said careful with that meat, and that felt weird. I think
mean-
that was another mistake on my part. I should have come up with something cooler.
I mean,
Like,
headcanon, it all kind of worked out.
Yeah,
I thought I honestly in the moment I thought you were talking to my character and you were like commenting on the weirdness of the
the
like
crustacean
I said it
bit,
was
yeah.
a crustacean, so with I just imagine you were like commenting on the claws or something. Honestly,
Yeah.
it worked. It didn't.
Okay, so that worked, yeah.
Yeah.
There
But
was no
that was
hitch
a
for me at
mistake
all.
on my part, yeah. I think that the only
Um,
thing that I would comment on is that every now and then you guys would roll, and then I would like let you get dibs on describing, and then every now and then I'd even do this, like, oh, come on,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing great, keep going.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't mind that. If anything, I usually err too much on the side of stalling on my turn. So, like when people say dex or point,
Mhm.
I need it. I shouldn't need it, but it helps me.
Mhm.
I think
Okay,
that's what
that's
you're.
good.
Yeah.
This was I like the session.
Yeah.
I think it flew very well.
Yeah. Okay. So, for priority number 1, we had fun.
Yes.
Priority number 2.
Close show.
2. Did we get the? Were we able to get the space setting?
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah,
we crushed
definitely.
it. There were some parts where I gotta admit I wasn't sure if we were in atmosphere or not, but I wasn't gonna ask.
Yeah.
You know
It's like
what?
people kept getting sucked out, and I'm like, why aren't we getting
Yeah.
sucked out? Okay, there's gravity, but like, is there?
I
Is
thought you
there
guys
now
had
a hole?
I thought you guys had a void suit on.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
assumed that. Maybe I shouldn't have assumed it.
No, I just had a cool outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you said leather jacket, right? Like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I think that went straight over my head.
I think
But-
it all worked out. I kind of took it as like,
Because here's the thing, you can also think of it as like a space opera thing. Because your characters are smart, they wouldn't just step out of the ship and die in the void, right?
Yeah.
So 100% you had some sort of system. Because you wouldn't just be like the heroes of the day and they kill themselves
Yeah.
walking out the ship at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So my
Well-
headcanon is that you guys had some type of gear that allowed you to breathe,
Yeah.
even if you were wearing a jacket. Maybe just like one of those like face things, or
Yeah.
like it's around your
Yeah,
face
yeah,
like this.
scuba
yeah.
mask.
I don't know. Scuba mask for outer space.
I gotta say, I really enjoyed the visual of the beam coming from the prism, just vaporizing stuff. I think that was great.
Like above you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
that was great. And the I really loved the spiders. The spiders were so dope. Like super, because at first I was like, what are these? Are they just like protecting the ship? But no, they're taking the space trash, building the ship with that. That was so cool. I really enjoyed that.
Airy stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that visual as well. And one of the times I described it as a river, like a literal river of spiders going down the side of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Just
was
pretty
pretty cool.
cool.
I like that a lot.
Felt very Matrix
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, it did.
Revelations. And I got
And
to,
also
I got
the
to
idea,
take
the
control.
emperor is an AI,
Mhm.
and the idea is like he's controlling everything.
Yeah.
And which is why he's like so efficient
Yeah.
building his ship. I think there's a lot of visual stuff that I stole, like Warhammer 40K.
Sure.
Usually ships have like those golden romantic paintings on tip, which I
Yeah.
think is
I
pretty
like
cool.
that a lot. I like that the tip was opulent, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like like the Death Star is just throughout as very brutal, but in the throne room it wasn't brutal at all. It was very artistic.
Oh
That
yeah.
was I really enjoyed that. And like
I don't
the
know if
people-
I think it was more interesting that we had like a weird twist at the end than just having haha the evil old emperor like wizard like throwing lightning. I think I like that little like weird bit at the end. where we get some sci-fi in.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I was first expecting sort of the Halo thing to happen, where he's just this weird alien guy sitting in a floating chair. You know, he kind of zooms around. I don't know if y'all have played Halo, like Halo 3 or before, but
Oh, not 3. I played the first one.
but something like that.
I'm sorry, I think I talked over you, Adam.
It was the turn order was weird at some points.
Mm-hmm.
Only because like Uriah and I have been sort of, at least like the advice to us on previous games has been that like the DM isn't in the cycle necessarily until they're needed. So I may have like took a turn, then Uriah took a turn, and then I may like when I would okay, well it's still my turn.
Yeah.
You would come in because you're ready. It's your part in the cycle. So I think that might be just a DM preference. Like we should have maybe that's something that we sort of iron out at the beginning.
Sure.
But it didn't bother me.
I think I don't do well with turns, honestly.
Mm.
Every time I try to enforce turn order, it just leads to awkward pauses.
Yeah.
So I might skip it every now and then. I think you guys had a lot of back and forths, and I think I've had some back and forths with either of you two, which it muddies the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Honestly,
turn order.
It felt very smooth. The turn, even though the turn order wasn't concrete, it still felt very, very, very smooth. I didn't feel any. Sure, we had some awkward pauses, and I'm okay with those. But it didn't feel like, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of people talking over one another, you know, and when we did, we were very courteous with each other, that sort of thing.
I like having the camera, like I can do this, or I can like do this.
Yeah.
Shut
up.
Direct to
I found myself doing a lot of pantomiming this game for some reason.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let me talk about some bad stuff. There were a number of times. I mean, we're basically getting from point A to point B, right? In a sort of but covering a lot of ground. And I don't know how to best do that because it's not like we're getting in a car and it's like we can say our sort of idle turns and then let you teleport us to the end of the car ride. There's no really good way for us to idle and then you teleport us. So that was very difficult for me and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And it's like, do I need to take another turn? Like, okay, I fly towards the thing.
I tried
now I maneuver. Now I try to like I couldn't figure out how to do that. Somebody smart in the comments needs to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
That's a very good point. It's difficult to do in space. Because you can say I continue on my journey. I tried to say, well, the ship is like right in front of you now.
Yeah.
Back on the hotshot section, it was like, oh, the ship is right in front of you now. You can see corridors in the hull, right?
Yeah.
I think that was a definite moment. Like, yeah, you're really close now, right? But
like I was just trying to fill it with like banter. I think Uriah did a better job of coming up with ideas. Like, I'm gonna check the ship for some whatever stuff we have. I'm gonna call out to the other ships. Like that was that you did some turns where you actually helped. You know, you did something useful while we were going towards the station.
Yeah.
Once or twice, I wanted to say you arrive at the ship, right? But I don't want to control your movements.
Sure.
In fact, I would prefer if you guys were more proactive with that. Like, I get to the ship. Right?
Okay.
Like, you finish.
Yeah.
I think you finishing that section might be better.
Sure.
Because I am very averse to say you go up the stairs, you get to the ship, right? You never want to do that. So I think that what happens is you need to seize the moment. Like, I get to the ship and I land it, right?
Yeah.
But I love the way you did the landing with the, like, the ship is like sleeking out and almost falls off. I think that was pretty cool.
I think,
but I think you need to take control of that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's
I don't
tricky.
think the GM is supposed to do that one.
It's tricky when it comes to stuff like that because there are some folks who could squint their eyes and say, "Well, is that time violation? Like, are you time skipping if the player says it versus the GM because the GM controls the world, you know, that sort of thing." But I mean, that could be something we hash out in the brief bit of discussion. And honestly, the more that we play with each other, like the more fluid it'll become. So I don't think we
exactly. I think we had way less way less awkward pauses after the initial section with the
Yeah.
space station.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you got to the ship into the spider, I think it was smooth sailing from there. But at the start, it would have a bit of an issue with like the pauses and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was a very fun session. I really liked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I think
Do I like it
we-
better than the? How about comparing this to the first session we played? What do you guys think in comparison? Which one do you think is more interesting? I think I like the previous session more, honestly.
The DM was way better for sure on the previous session. I'm kidding.
More humble too, I have heard.
I'm
That's
kidding.
awesome.
I haven't watched it back. I'm kidding.
Yeah, he didn't talk at all. He was
I
great.
like this one better. Yeah, exactly. I didn't say anything.
He was the GM Uriah wanted, right?
Yeah. just you know what? Just give me the DM screen. I'll run the whole. Don't worry about it. Now, I enjoyed the last session, and I think I talked a lot more the last session. In this session, I really tried to keep my turns to be basically what I do, where I am, what I say, and try not to inflate those at all. The last
for the additions. Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say the 4Ding in this one, I tried to really tone it down, or at least let a die roll sit in between it. And I mean, I think the last one we played was a lot quicker, but that was at the expense of like not turn bloat, but me kind of pushing things along, so to speak.
Forcing it along.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the 40 additions you did here.
Mm-hmm.
Like controlling the spider. I mean, that changed the whole game. That was really cool.
Yeah.
The way you set the spider to blow up, the way you unplug the spider from the network, and like you basically use it to drill down into the ship is really cool. Adam did a great job 4D'ing the ship. It's kind of funny because each of you like 4D'd your own vehicle into the story, which I think is pretty cool. I think Adam could have 4D'd a little bit more.
Yeah.
But beyond that point, I think that was a really fun session.
Mm-hmm.
I had to maybe the throne room was a bit of my fault because I didn't have like a set plan on what I was gonna do. Like I didn't even know what the cube was like until we got to the throne room. Right?
Yeah.
It's like I'll figure it out later. And this is why you need, because if I run a game as open as that, then I can let you guys basically control the story from that point onwards. It's like maybe one of you guys say, "Oh, the cube has strange alien readings on it," and then from that point, oh, it is aliens now.
I just
maybe
my
that's
whole
the confusion of the banquet hall is the fact that I didn't pre-plan it, but that's the whole point of the NPC. You don't plan it.
No,
You
it
don't
was,
sweat it.
it
I
was
didn't know what
fine.
the cube was. I didn't know who the emperor was, but we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't intentional, guys. I just created a character that was like, didn't care, like, oh, just, check the QB thing and put the QB thing in the hole. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really cool. That's a cool archetype for this type of game.
it did, but it
And-
didn't help with the 4D creation because,
Oh no, but that's fine. Like 4D is a convention. In the end, how much you 4D is up to you.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was a detriment to the story in any way
Not at
that
all.
you didn't contribute as much to it.
I think it worked out well.
Yeah, and it's always sometimes it's better to err on the side of caution, like compare like to Uriah's like previous game, right? But regardless, I think we did space. I think space pulled off. What about heroic though? Now this is pretty interesting.
I think our sort of we were very proactive in just going and not being we didn't plan, we didn't stop to really plan. We sort of
Don't
just went
sweat
with
it,
the
yeah.
flow. Like, I think that's a big part of being heroic, especially in when you've played in other sessions and it's like, all right, you're here and like they hide behind the door planning for 8 hours. Like,
Yeah.
we open the door or whatever.
We really kind of punched it in there. Which was
Another aspect of it that I really tried to force was the overwhelming odds as well.
Yeah.
Like the ship you guys were facing was like the size of a planet according
Yeah.
to the reader. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that image of like it's almost like an optical illusion.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's exactly what I went for.
we're not being too easy on ourselves, right? Come on, let's get some dirt. Like, this is supposed to
That's
be
the thing. I
practice.
try to be negative because if you go to the bad parts, then you
Yeah.
can try to see where you can improve, right?
Makes the good parts feel a whole lot better.
What would Zonalar
Yeah.
say?
Yeah. I think.
Zolar would say something weird in German.
Yeah. I
I think
think
that the Conway has taken 3 turns.
I think
It's taken 3
Conway.
turns in a row.
I think Conway could have taken less turns.
Oh, come on, don't I shouldn't have made fun of Zolar. We love you, buddy.
Yeah, he's great. I really did appreciate what he had to say about that last session. I took it in
Indeed,
in good faith.
It's for growth, right? You have to
Yeah.
grow your ability in the hobby.
Yeah, and even on
And he means well.
yes, yeah, he does mean well. He wouldn't say anything if he didn't.
We also mean well in
Yes.
mocking you a little bit. Okay? It's a bit of fun. We're poking a bit of
Yeah,
fun here.
we love him. As far as it being heroic, I think we really leaned into sort of the, I don't want to say ex machina, but there were some parts where it really got easy, where things were like we would say that something happens and then we would just not get an automatic success, but the target numbers they felt really low at times, or maybe a roll wasn't even necessary in some circumstances. That can make things feel heroic, like we're just overpowered, basically. I don't think it really caused me to kind of lose the feeling of it at all. I wasn't like taken out of the moment by it. What do y'all think?
That's the point. When I first said that, you don't need to increase your hit points, but that's because in this universe, right, the whole context is what matters more. Like I said, when you drop down from like a true story in a hero movie, then you don't get hurt. But if you do it in a realistic movie, you do get hurt.
Yeah.
And I tried to display this when, like, with one shot, you didn't kill like one of the like Imperial troopers. You killed like their whole squadron, right?
Wiped out.
That's what I wanted to pass. Like, yeah, it's not that the numbers change; is that the scale that the numbers
Sure.
operate change.
That's
that's
a
what I
good
mean?
way to put it.
Like when you shoot, you don't kill one guy; you kill their squadron
Yeah.
because they're basically like a minion.
Yeah.
Although I hate using the term minions for this, right? But that's my idea. Maybe that's why it felt easy. I think we should have discussed that more. But then again, it's an NPC. You know what I mean? Did the whole sequence feel easy? Did it feel like it was like way too easy to break into the Emperor's room than it should have been, like in universe?
Well,
Because that would be an issue.
I think it made sense. The context, and really that's kind of the measuring stick that I use. The context felt good. The fact that we were using the spider bot, and the spider bot's purpose is to weld things and melt metal together. It felt natural.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. That really felt good because there was context in the world for it. I think it could have been a little bit harder to get it disconnected from the cloud, essentially. That felt a little bit too easy because at that point it was like, okay, we can just kind of have carte blanche to do whatever we want. Concerning the bot.
I think it would be cheap the other way. Like, isn't it kind of cheap that one of the engineers, like looking at the PDA, will see you two like on top of a river of spiders? And also, didn't it feel a bit cheap that the woman like grabbed your leg from the table? I was honestly like thinking the other way. I think the only Deus Ex Machina that I can think of is the guards not shooting you as you're entering the throne room.
Yeah.
But I think we had context for that in universe because the woman was kind of crazy, almost like a cultish about the Emperor. It's like, oh, the Imperial Guard, they're not like just soldiers, right? They're like almost religious warriors for the Emperor, so they wouldn't even risk shooting at the Emperor.
No.
And I love you guys like barring the door. I think it'd be really cool, like they barged in and like stabbed you guys. But I love the scene of you barring the door with like a marble thing.
Good 4D of a marble bench.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know. To me, the heroic part, like it. Okay, there was always tension though. I thought there was always tension. So like I don't the encounters or whatever that we were overcoming weren't were just like avoiding
Sure.
instead of like dealing with the combat. Like we were always like on the precipice of a combat.
Like a fight was about to break
True,
out.
yeah.
So that felt
I think it felt
good.
natural.
That felt good. And I got shot twice. I mean,
Yeah.
for my part, I reacted to it, but then like a hero would just forget about it and keep
Sure.
going.
You got shot.
Like, versus like a dramatic tone, which you'd be like, that would be a big part of the rest of the
Yeah.
story.
It was funny because I said you got shot in the leg, and then Maddox tosses you the cube. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's your,
Yeah,
it's your
you-
duty to
you
do
do
this.
it.
You know,
Well,
you're
'cause-
good.
I was expecting.
So okay, that was intentional, by the way.
Mm.
That like me taking a moment and looking at the end zone with the football
Yeah.
wasn't me like being lost in the room. By the way, just so you know, that wasn't me being like, "Where is this thing?" and where I'm supposed to put it out of character as a player. That was just like a ding,
No, yeah.
ding scene. Okay,
That's definitely
That's
how
my
I took it.
turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not good at those like end scene final moments. By the way, so it's gonna fall flat if I'm the one that has to do this.
I think I established the overwhelming odds against the party pretty early on. The whole like debris field, like, oh, that's not an asteroid belt. That's the fleet that this thing just destroyed.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a good reveal.
That was like one part of it, of like facing overwhelming odds. But it's also like the grit and determination of the players, right? And I think we got to see shine through like a lot of like your, not so much your grit and determination, although Dax got like close to dying, right?
Yeah.
But it's also that we got to see like your skill, right? Like Maddox felt more like a hacker type guy, like at the end.
Well, that was
So then about
that
Hunter.
was one of the oh
One of
gosh.
those boons you had or something.
Yeah, one of the what are they called? What's the A word? No, inclinations. I'm sorry. That
Okay.
was one of the. I had a hacker, so that was it made sense.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Bounty hunter, getting into places he's not supposed to be in. All right, do we want
It's tough.
to? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we can. No, I mean, you're right. If you're looking at the clock, we can keep talking after we close
Oh,
out.
how long was the game, by the way? Did you keep noticing that?
About an hour and a half.
Right.
Right
Yeah.
around there.
Wow,
maybe.
that was fast,
Yeah,
man.
it felt very quick, but it felt good.
The pacing was very fast.
Yes. Yeah.
At the end, it was almost like kind of rushing it because I knew we were gonna getting at the time. The whole conversation I had with Adam the last time we played.
There it is.
Really enjoyed this one.
Yes.
Really fun.
Success. We did it. Space heroic.
Oh, I just realized that we had space and we also have sci-fi in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I think
pretty broad, isn't it?
yeah, it's a little bit more broad.
You're right. It's your duty to pick a new one, Conway.
Ooh,
Do your duty
what are we
and
missing?
please that booty.
What are we missing? Oh, I know. Skyship. I think like Steam Skyship
Like
or something
Steam-
like that.
Steampunk? We don't have
Like-
steampunk on here. We can do steampunk.
Do we have
There's
steampunk?
cyberpunk, but we don't have steampunk.
We don't have steampunk.
That could
I
be.
think steampunk's pretty cool. Yeah.
Is that what you said, right? That's not me.
Yeah, sky
It's here.
ship. He said sky ship.
I was thinking steampunk, but like Skyship. But you know what? Yeah, something like that.
like BioShock.
Yeah, something
BioShock
like that would be really
Unlimited
cool, like Bioshock
or Infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, Infinite.
You got final say. I can put
Yeah,
whatever you
we'll
want.
go with that. We'll go with
Yeah.
the slash.
Okay. Gotta add it to my dictionary.
I'm still waiting for us to roll 20. That'd be fun.
I really wish
I
we
know.
did, because you can imagine getting something like Dreamscape and
Mm-hmm.
something else. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Great game, guys.
Yeah. Great time. A lot of fun.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I'm glad
You
we
wanna
could
end it?
go ahead.
No. I'll let you end your stream.
Cool. I'm really glad
You
we
don't
got,
have to.
I'm really glad we got to do this. I was kind of worried because in in the Discord, I'm like DMing you. I'm not getting a response. I'm like, okay. I know you got plenty of stuff going on, so I didn't take it personally. But I'm like, are we gonna play or not? So I'm really glad we got to do this. Yeah, the folks that dropped in, nobody's watching now, but folks that dropped in, and for folks who are checking this out after the fact, if you are a part of the Discord and you want to be a part of UnPC, give us a ring. Make some noise in the channel and in the chat, and we'll try to fit you in how we can. We really want this to kind of catch on and become a bigger thing for folks to really start to hone their skills and try something new. It's kind of ridiculous when you tell someone, oh yeah, we play a no prep game, and they look at you like you're crazy. But in any case, y'all have a wonderful day. Adam, Conway, thanks so much for hanging out and playing. Always a pleasure. You guys are great.
See y'all.
Y'all take care.
Bye.